Welcome back to our 39th episode in our quest to rip off Zelda. Wait, hold up. I mean in our quest to create our own action-adventure RPG. I know devlogs have been few and far between recently, but with the workload of school and kind of life in general, it has been hard sticking to a consistent weekly upload. But hopefully in the near future, we will be able to get back on track. These last 2 weeks have honestly been so packed with mostly just game juice and improvements that it's just crazy, so stick around to watch the entire video. Well, firstly, I really wanted to refactor the behavior tree on the AI because it was just a nightmare to work with. But you know how programming is, it's just bugs on bugs on bugs. So it actually ended up that Captain Conrad attempted to rework some of the fundamentals of movement for the AI, and while he was doing that hard and labor intensive work, I thought it was a perfect time to implement some awesome features that we were missing. From some extra attention to the player movement to some juicy screen shake. We are really excited to showcase what we have done over these last 2 weeks, so stick around and watch this video through. And before we hop right into this devlog, I wanted to quickly shout out our Patreon page. This platform allows us to keep working on this project and shows that you guys are really interested in seeing the final result. But now, back to the video. To start off this devlog, I really wanted to clean up the AI's behavior tree. As we continue to add in new features and tasks, it became a nightmare to work in. So with some minor adjustments in mind, I called up Captain Conrad, which is not a surprise anymore, and we talked for quite some time about how to do a specific task. This task was to completely transfer over root motion onto a nav mesh. Before, we used a combination of the two to move our AI, but with this system some problems arose, such as the AI moving when it wasn't supposed to, and even more annoying problems than that. It took us about a day, I don't even know why I say us, because it took Captain Conrad about a day to figure out a system that would work for what we tried to accomplish. But before I got settled down and got to work, we discussed how a behavior tree should look like, because I did not want a repeat of my first attempt and have the same problem a few weeks later. So after a long discussion and some heavy research, we really got a good grasp over behavior trees and how they should be implemented. You see, my first mistake was trying to use the behavior tree as a finite state machine, and this made me have a bunch of if statements just scattered throughout my entire tree. But as I continued to research, I didn't have to look too far until I realized that a behavior tree should have behaviors and tasks to complete that certain behavior, which I kind of should have realized by the name of the system, but let's just not look at that. So after fiddling around with this new system Captain Conrad implemented, we saw a major flaw in the original design. The way we had it set up was that the AI character would actually chase its own nav mesh agent using root motion, which is kind of hard to put into words, but hopefully I'll put it on the screen. Anyways, after finding this problem, Captain Conrad decided to, again, take the backbone of this operation and try and figure out a good way of implementing the complete root motion pathfinding solution. So while he did the intense work, I was like, dang, juice looks yummy, and started to try to make the game feel and play better. The first thing I did was kind of an accident. Haha, jokes. So let's start from the very beginning. So some of our loyal viewers know we recently switched up how the movement system works in our game. We also implemented a way to quickly switch between the old style and the new style for features like swimming and other such things. So one really late night when I was refactoring some of the old code, I accidentally enabled the old style on land, which at first I was like, ew, old equals bad, but as I continued to walk around, it felt pretty nice just to explore the world. So the idea I had in mind was that when the player was just walking around and exploring, he would have the original movement style. But as soon as he detected an enemy nearby, as showcased by this cube on screen, he would go into the strafing style we recently implemented. This small change made the game just feel so much better and way more refined than before. It combines both styles' pros and removes the cons that come with with them. So like, it's pretty good. A few problems I did encounter was when you were in the original movement style, when you attacked or drew your bow, it wouldn't go where you were looking, which you know is kind of bad. So while Captain Conrad finally thought he got rid of me, I slammed down his door and got on a call. And this time it was actually pretty quick and we got all of the bugs ironed out. So now with this system, it works and feels 10 times better than before. Many of you may be wondering why I never block in the videos, and no, it's not because the AI had zero defense and never attacked, it was actually because I never re-implemented that system. You see, when redoing such a large system like movement, it tends to mess with a lot of other smaller systems, which is never good. But what is even worse is ignoring those unimplemented features and going on and implementing completely new system. But this finally seemed like a perfect time to re-implement blocking while Captain Conrad slaved away on pathfinding. The final thing I do have to implement for blocking is the ability to actually block incoming attacks and not take as much damage, which is kind of the point of, blocking, but anyways, it's just a visual element right now. Also, with the fact that nothing ever does damage to the player just yet, I'll get to that all shortly. The next sort of minute detail I added back was the arrows when the player pulls back the bow. This has been missing and honestly I don't remember why it hasn't been showing up, but after some quick refactoring it was pretty simple to add back. This small feature got me on this entire mindset of how do I make range combat feel more juicy, and this led me to a video by Unity showcasing the new Cinemachine cameras. While this seems unrelated, I saw a feature that they had which I really liked, which was that when the player shoots an arrow, there's a small screen shake effect that is also played. So after seeing this, I hopped right onto Unity and got it working and it feels awesome. Though I probably shouldn't move the line of code because currently it's being played anytime an arrow is created, which means an AI ranger could just cause the screen shake and that would not be a very good time. And on the final note on the range juice, we'll still be adjusting the values of the screen shake just so it doesn't get too old. And finally, I saved the most interesting till last, which is the models. Our artists have been working tirelessly on making new environmental and prop objects that we can use during the development of the project. Perforator was sort of busy learning C# and Unity recently, so Excelsius took a large chunk of models in these last 2 weeks. Though Perforator didn't have much time, he was still able to create some beautiful looking models. This included an awesome explosive barrel, which I think you guys can tell where this is going. There's some new range juice, there's an explosive barrel, things go boom when they collide. But that isn't till quite a bit, we still wanted the model there. The next one he created was a box trap. This trap really looks awesome and I can't wait to get it into the game. This will be hung in a tree and the player will be able to shoot the rope holding it up to trap any orcs below it. I'm honestly super excited to see it in game. Well, that's when we get the orcs back into the game. Well, that was it for Perforator's work. Excelsius created some awesome new models, one of which finally included an awesome looking sword for our hero, and this sword just looks incredible, so don't forget to give Excelsius a huge thank you for creating this gorgeous model. The next model he created was a cave entrance model. We talked about expressing interest in having caves and abandoned mines in the world, so he got straight to work creating some awesome entrances to that place. But he also created some minecart tracks that we can place in those areas, so don't forget to give them a big thank you in the Discord for working so hard over these last 2 weeks. Thank you all for tuning into this filled devlog this week. I know we haven't been doing our weekly posts, but as mentioned at the start, these videos do take a long time to make and I do not want to burn out on devlogs. So I'm taking it a bit slow while I try to figure out schooling and other life activities such as work. But do not worry, I do want to share our progress on the weeks we don't have a devlog to post, so if you guys are interested, go check out the Discord and the Patreon in the description below. On that note, I wanted to thank our awesome patrons this month. Let's give a huge thank you to Toffs Officer, and Token, they've been an awesome help for this project. Not only them, but Deathstroke, Inconspicuous, Max, Tajna, Artem, Delta, and Windshire have also been a huge help. You guys have been able to help in development, and we want to thank you for supporting us. And on the final note, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next devlog.